What's up, world, and welcome back to Quarantine Clean, my YouTube channel that I created to provide a platform for the voices in the recovery community to feel heard. Now, when I say recovery community, I am referring to those who may be struggling or who have struggled with substance abuse or alcohol abuse issues. This video is going to have some tips, tricks, hints, and tools that I use to get clean in my first 30 days. And hopefully it'll provide some experience, hope, strength, or information for you that might be struggling, that may be thinking about, starting a new life, getting clean. Here's some tricks that I use that hopefully can help you guys out. All right, so hope you enjoy. So I identify as an addict in recovery, and today I have 18 months and 17 days clean. Today my life is miraculously different from the life I spent 15 years plus in active addiction. Those 15 years started off with alcohol and eventually led to ecstasy, cocaine, and crystal meth. And today in this video, I just wanted to share some tips and tools that worked for me in my first 30 days getting clean, what to expect, and just some of the tips to help you on your way. So hopefully this can be beneficial to all those out there who are thinking about getting clean, thinking about, stopping using, perhaps interested in a new way of life, and perhaps you have some fear about what those first 30 days are going to feel like. So hopefully this video can give you some assistance and a little bit of insight in what to expect. All right, so first things first, my suggestion number one is to delete all of your old contacts that you used to associate with using, right? So all of your old connects, all of your old plugs, all of your old using buddies, friends and associates and family members that associate with using. And this is very, very, very important for many reasons. I think most importantly, if you don't have any other tools like a program, like a sponsor, if you don't have the access, you won't get the drugs, right? So even if you're at a low moment, if you're feeling uncomfortable, right, or you're feeling unsafe, unsure, triggered, if you don't have those numbers, then you cannot get high. So I highly suggest the first thing you do is just go on your phone, delete those text threads, delete those emails, all of those phone numbers, unless you want to use again, unless you're not sure about, wanting to have a new way of life. But if you know for sure that you are done fighting, that you are done, with the pain, with the broken promises, with the sadness, with the degradation, do yourself a favor and delete those numbers, because you're gonna wish that you had if you don't. Take it from me, like I've heard people in recovery that have been able to accumulate some time clean and then reached out to an old friend and then lost all their clean time. So yeah, first suggestion is delete those contacts, delete those text threads. Let's start replacing the negative with the positive. And so my second tip is fitness. So for me in my active addiction, especially using crystal meth, my routine would be to wake up and use kind of like a morning coffee, right? And my first day clean, I had already decided that I was not trying to use again. I had already deleted the contacts in my phone, and so I decided to get up out of my house, throw on some workout gear, and go for a run, right? And for me, that's been very, very important in my recovery process. I'm someone that likes, I like my endorphins to be released, right? And there's this thing called a runner's high, where if you get your heart rate high enough, your body will release endorphins and you will get a runner's high. And for me, that was the closest thing to actually getting high that I could experience. And so for me, that worked. And what I did that very first day was I ran and ran until the craving subsided. And that worked for me. And I got to say that even in that first day, although I was feeling very clammy, very uncomfortable, very tired, very confused, very exhausted, I did see that, me getting out for 20, 30 minutes and running, alleviated that craving. And so I'm not even going to lie, like I ran every single day, at least for the first 90 days. And I'm not suggesting that you do that. You don't have to become a track star But do whatever it takes, right? So figure out what you can do that will get your heart rate up, that will get your body going, that will get those endorphins flowing, so that you start to get that natural high, right? Without any other toxic substances being introduced. All right, my third suggestion is find a fellowship. Find a fellowship. So for me, I'm a proud member of Narcotics Anonymous. I have been that since my first day in recovery, but there are many fellowships out there for all different types of people. There's Eaters Anonymous, there's Gamblers Anonymous, there's Codependency Anonymous, Alcoholic Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, Crystal Meth Anonymous. There's lots of different fellowships. But I suggest this of high importance and high priority because you want to start to replace the negative with the positive, right? And so you removed all your contacts from your phone, you remove that negativity, and now it's time to start adding some contacts to your life that will actually be beneficial, right? And that'll make you feel good. And so, if you think about how you used, right, you would find people that use the same drugs that you used, and then you'd find some secret spot to go use, and that was your atmosphere. And now that you're removing yourself from that atmosphere, you need to replace that negative atmosphere with a positive one. So find a fellowship, find a group that meets regularly. Hopefully they meet every day. Even better if they meet multiple times a day, so that you can start to get connected with a new atmosphere, with a new environment, with a new group of people that you can trust and that are like-minded. And when I say like-minded, in that, this is how I used to party, right? I used to say, well, if you're not partying like how I party, then you can't be around me, right? And so you want to use that same concept, but flip it into positive, right? So you only are going to want to keep people around you that are going to want the best for you, that are going to feed your soul, that are going to feed your spirit, right? That ultimately their mindset aligns with your mindset, right? So hang around with a new group of people, find a fellowship, even if it's a church group, right? Even if it's just a group of friends, as long as those group of friends aren't a group that uses drugs, stick with that, right? Because you also you come to find out that you have a safe space, and then you also have a place where you can hold yourself accountable, right? For me, it got exciting when I started to show up regularly at my home group in Narcotics Anonymous, and then I would get a month clean, and then 2 months clean, and then I would get excited because people started to root for me and my home group, right? And so then I had people in my corner that were rooting for the positivity, right? That were celebrating these milestones with me as I got 30 days, as I got 60 days, as I got 90 days, right? You start to replace that old atmosphere, replace that negative atmosphere with an atmosphere of positivity. Very, very important for early recovery. My next suggestion after finding a fellowship would be finding a sponsor. A sponsor is someone that you can role model your life after. A sponsor is someone who lives the way you want to live, who speaks the way you want to speak, right? Who behaves the way that you want to behave. But most importantly, you have to find a sponsor that you can trust, because it's your sponsor that you're going to share your deepest, darkest secrets with, right? So it's your sponsor that has also lived through the same path that you're trying to walk on today, right? So in early recovery, all those new feelings that feel uncomfortable, that feel unfamiliar, right? None of those feelings are new to a sponsor, right? Your sponsor's been there, done that, and walked through it clean, right? So have someone in your life that has already been through a lot of the same that you've been through, right? Because that way you have more trust that they have a solution, right? But if you find yourself, around someone that, you can't relate to, chances are you're not going to trying to solve your problems with them if you can't connect to them on a spiritual level. So, and that doesn't mean if you're a man that you have to find a fellow man. It doesn't mean if you're a woman, you have to find a fellow woman. You have to find a soul, a spirit that you can trust. And that's important. Very, very important as far as early on in recovery. There were so many moments throughout those first 30 and 60 days that, I wanted to go back, that I didn't know what I was doing, that I wanted to give up. And my sponsor was only a phone call away or a text message away. That's important. You're going to want to have that safety net to fall on, especially in the first, 30, 60 days of recovery, because everything is so shaky and uncertain. But one thing that it was always certain and consistent and solid was my sponsor and my sponsorship family, and my fellowship, Narcotics Anonymous. But yeah, very, very, very important. Find a sponsor. Secondly, thirdly, I would suggest meditation. For me, meditation has been the tool I've used to combat all of the mental, emotional instability and chaos and confusion that goes along with active addiction. When I came into recovery, I came in off of a 2-year mental psychosis. So I was using heavily every single day, nonstop, no breaks, no downtime for 2 years straight. And so the lack of sleep, the lack of self-care, the lack of appetite, it sent my mind into a frenzy, right? And I was in a bad place. And I couldn't understand how to just slow my mind down, slow down my thinking, right? I was always in the future, and then I also was an addict who used or who liked to use a lot of stimulants, a lot of the uppers, right? And so years and years and years of feeding your blood and your brain and your biology, all of these toxins, once you just remove yourself from that, it feels very, very strange. And I still felt like my mind was going in fast forward, right? And so meditation for me was a tool that I was able to use to slow things down, right? To be in the present, right? For me, I can easily get caught up in the obsessive thoughts of the future, where I need to be, what I need to do, where I should have been, what I should be doing, or I can just as easily get caught up in the obsessive thoughts of the past, what I did, what I heard, what I wish I wouldn't have done, what I regret, what I'm shameful for, right? Meditation helps to pull me out of that craziness of the past, pull me out of that unpredictability of the future, and keep me grounded in the peace and the serenity in the present, right? And what's going on right now, right? And just being aware. And for you, that can be many things. Something as simple as just taking a walk outside, right? Every day when you wake up, instead of going to that drug, instead of going to that pipe, get outside, right? Take a minute to pause, right? Take in the sounds, right? Take in the smells, right? And I know that this sounds cliche or whatever, but I'm telling you, for me in meditation, I'll never forget those moments of, wow, that's what birds chirping really sounds like. Or wow, that's what it sounds like when the wind zips through the leaves and then the leaf kind of wafts down to the ground and slides on the sidewalk. It's little stuff like that I took for granted on a regular basis, that today, through meditation and through mindfulness, I'm able to find some appreciation for and some gratitude to, right? And in that gratitude comes serenity. And so, yeah, so that's pretty much my suggestions the first 30 days. So I just want to run back through them one more time. So the first thing is, get rid of all of those old contacts, all of those using buddies, even if they're close friends, even if they're family members. You got to put it to the point where what's more important, right? Because for me, recovery was life or death, right? So there's no one, no friend, no close friend, no associate, no family member that was more important than me staying alive. And you have to be able to take that serious mindset. Otherwise, it won't work. It won't work. And for me, I came into this program knowing that I needed some help, and knowing that the ways that I was going about my life was not working for me, right? And so if you're tired of fighting, if you're tired of being sad, if you're tired of being alone, there's another option, right? And there's so much stigma behind drug use, especially behind crystal meth, and I want this video to hopefully touch someone out there who is struggling right now, thinking that your life was too dark, right? Or your pain was too traumatic, right? Or because I've been through it all. Years of homelessness, drug abuse. I've been sexual trauma, jails and institutions. I've been through all of it, and I can tell you that none of it, and I know this today. I didn't know that before, but none of it is too much to be worked on, to be improved on, to be healed, right? We have an option to be healed. It's just, do we have the willpower to go and do it, right? And so any of you guys out there who are struggling today, I just want to provide some hope. You know, you're not alone. You're not alone. And I know it may seem dark, and I know it may seem damn near impossible, but let my story be a testimony, right? Let it be proof that there is nothing you guys can go through that will keep you down forever, unless you choose to be down forever. And that's the beauty of the program that I work today. You know, the program that I work has afforded me choices in life, when before I had no choices. Before, my only choice was to use and to numb away. And today I have many healthier, more satisfying, more gratifying options and choices. And so, yeah, get yourself a program, right? Get yourself a fellowship. Find yourself an atmosphere where you feel safe. Then find yourself a sponsor. Find yourself someone you can trust, someone that you can share your pain with, share your secrets to, and start to do some of that surgery of the spirit with, right? To really get that healing. Because that's all we want at the end of the day. You know, underneath the pain and the sadness is just a wound. It's just a wound. And all we're trying to do is we're trying to heal this wound with these drugs, right? With these substances, right? But all we're doing is exacerbating the wound, right? And then we let the wound get infected, right? Instead of that, let's treat the wound, right? And I'm not talking about a physical wound. I'm talking about the spiritual wounds that come from pain and trauma in life. Let's heal those spiritual wounds with some spiritual surgery, right? And you have to be in a place where you feel safe, right? And you have to be with a surgeon or a sponsor that you can trust. And I think with those tools, you know, with deleting your old contacts, deleting that negativity, deleting that atmosphere, replacing that negative atmosphere with a positive atmosphere, with people that want the best for you, with people whose intentions in life align with your own, then you've got all the room in the world to grow, right? So thank you so much for coming in and listening to this video. I do hope that this provided some hope or some strength to any addict or struggling addict out there who might need some help. Thank you for all of those who support Quarantine Clean. Please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe button so that you are up to date with all things Quarantine Clean. And with that being said, I want to say I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.